And a very good morning. I would say welcome to the Daily Punt, but I'm not doing it for the Daily Punt, I'm doing it for myself these days. So, welcome to the Southwell preview, which I decided to do about 20 minutes ago, just to sort of basically let you know I'm still alive and that I am going to be doing a few of these for the jump racing season because obviously normally I'd be on course around this time of the year. That's not happening. So I've got a bit of time on my hands. So I think for a few of these jumps cards, particularly the Southwell and the Utoxeter ones, I'll be having a bit of a look at them, and I might put one or two selections up. See how we go. Only decided to do this about sort of half an hour ago, so basically just to sort of let you know I'm still alive and still here. We've got this is possibly the most difficult card I've ever seen at Southwell in my life. 9 races, 12 runners every race, tricky handicaps, good handicaps. I mean, this is the sort of card that you could put on a market race on a Saturday in the middle of summer, and you'd be absolutely delighted with it. Really good card. The usual caveats are going to apply here. First day of the jump season, so you've got to be a little bit careful as to who's got their horses a bit more forward than others. Saying that, we know what we know about one or two of the trainers, and they tend to have their horses. The likes of Mr. Skelton will have his horses probably a bit more forward maybe than one or two. So an interesting card. We'll just whiz through it and see if we can find a couple of bets. I think there might be a couple towards the end of the card. The first race is the first of 2 chasers on the card. This one over 2.5 miles. Not the greatest race I've ever seen. When I first looked at it, I thought I wanted to play the race because the front 2 are beatable. 90210 is not the most straightforward of horses, and Oxwich Bay will hit a fence at some point. He inevitably makes a mistake at some point. But what I wanted to play against them, I don't know. I was sort of moderately interested in LA Grande of Keith Dalglish's at double figure prices. Definitely wants a fence, LA Grande, on what I saw last year. But I do tend to like Keith Dalglish to have had a run, and we haven't seen LA Grande since last December. If she drifts to a ridiculous price, I mean, she's heading that way now, to be perfectly fair, and I might give her a go. She's likely to give it a go from the front. You'll probably know where you are after about 2 or 3 fences, whether you've got a runner or not. But I think she's moderately interested against the front 2, who are they're definitely beatable. 12:35, the second of the handicap chasers. This one over 2 miles, 0 to 135, good race. Market's probably got this about right, I think. The horses that they've got at the front of the market are the ones that I'd have at the front of the market. I think Azuri probably holds a slight class advantage over quite a few of these. I think he's probably the most likely winner. There's 1 or 2 down the bottom I'm not keen on. I've never been a fan of Granier and Malley. She finds very little under pressure. I'm not mad keen on Ballyvic Veru. There's a few I'm not keen on. It's just a hard race to solve. The more I looked at it, the more I just ended up basically coming to the conclusion it was a watch and a no bet race. And if you think that's a no bet race and you've got a bumper to follow, I'm not a fan of putting bumpers in the middle of cards. I have to say it's not pleasant if you're trying to play, place pots and colossuses and the like. I don't think it's very fair. It is what it is. It's there. You can only go on what we know, but it's not a race I've got any interest in at this stage from a betting perspective. First of the handicap hurdles. This one I have. I think that the 140 2.5 mile handicap hurdle. There's a couple in here are interesting. The top one definitely is Flint Rock. There's a couple of bits and pieces of form from last season that make him look quite interesting here. I thought he took some decent animals on. Just trying to get the race up now. Unfortunately, the internet's just gone down at this stage, which is slightly annoying. But there was a couple of pieces of form. There was one in particular, I think it was at Utoxeter, if memory serves me correctly, where I thought he was particularly interesting. Just let me get the race up. Here it comes. Internet's come back up again now. Bear with me one sec. This is the joy of doing it on the hoof, you see. These sort of things happen. Yeah, it was. There was the Utoxeter run was. It was a Utoxeter. That was an eye-catching enough effort, but even before that at Newbury, had run all right against Shishkin in a decent novice hurdle. Recorded a really good speed figure that day as well, a decent speed figure despite finishing midfield. Pieces go on into handicaps. Mark of 105 looks more than workable on what we know about him on the flat. He was rated in the 80s, not that long ago really. So I think a mark of 105 is more than workable. I think he's quite interesting. 8-1 looks a fair price to me there. A New Siege as well. There was one run from a New Siege, the 3-horse of Nigel Hawkes last year, that I thought was quite interesting at Doncaster. When she came up against Buzz, she just looked in need of a bit further that day, and she gets an extra half mile here. And Nigel Hawkes, a trainer I've got a lot of time for with these sort of horses. Opening mark of 105 isn't a gimme, but there's probably improvement in there. I probably would have liked to have seen a bit of rain, I think, for a New Siege. I don't think she'll want it quick. If it's good, soft side of, and I think she'll be all right on it. But more than that, I think if it's quick, she might be struggling a bit. Tellart will give this a go from the front. Ben Paulins is not a horse I've ever particularly been in love with. He's a very un-Ben Pauling-like horse. Most of Ben's are sort of really sort of scopy, lengthy things. This one isn't. I don't think we'll see him over a fence anytime soon. It'd just be interesting to see how Ben Paulins get on this summer. Obviously, he had a really, pretty miserable time of it by his high standards last year. I think he only had about 18 winners. I think something like that. Anyway, it was about half of what he'd had the season before, and it was. They found problems with the feed and whatnot, but that season never really seemed to get going. So it'll be interesting to see in these first couple of meetings how Ben Paulins go. And I know there's people out there that will be with the likes of Black Anthem, still looks well handicapped. Xenophar is capable, another one that probably wants some rain, but he's capable enough at this level. And the bottom one's Zamoyski, of course, who's got a really good record around Southwell. I think he's won around here 3 times. I think he's had about a dozen, but he's had about 5 starts and won around here 3 times. But it's Flint Rock for me. I think might be able to outclass them, especially in the first-time cheap pieces. First of a couple of novice hurdles then. I was going to say no interest in this from a betting perspective, but if they keep backing Medalla d'Oro, I might lay that for a place. Just pulls too hard for me, Medalla d'Oro, and this is a race with more depth than the one that he won at Fakenham in March. He beat Sorbet that day, and it was a very, very moderate contest. I thought very moderate. There's 1 or 2 in here that pull. Thrave can take a bit of a hold as well for Paul Nicholls. Any Mikasa Head is probably the most likely winner, but there is a bit of depth to this one. And if Medalla d'Oro, is sort of around about 72-41 at the off, I'll probably try laying it for a place and see if I can get it out of the frame. Pull its way out the frame. 240. Handicap. It's the second of the novice hurdles. Front 2 are sort of 6-4 the pair, and that basically sort of sums it up. Ashitor and Sangha. I just preferred Sangha, but again, it's not a betting contest. And don't get lured in by trying to have a bet each way against the front 2, because I think one of them wins. And if you're betting each way, you've got about 10 horses left, and you're playing for 1 place. So to me, it's not an each way betting race. These races are only ever each way if you can convince yourself you can get one of the front 2 out the frame. If you can, fine, you've got 2 places to play for, and you're giving yourself more of a chance. But I think both Ashitor and Sangha should be in the frame here, so, and one of them will probably win. So not an each way betting contest. 310 is 2.5 handicap, 2.5 mile handicap hurdle. It probably revolves around Hunter's Call, who was last seen back in December 2017 beating Silver Streak. Now, I don't need to tell you that a marker 128 probably looks very much on the low side for Hunter's Call. The fact that they are, I know they were getting him ready for Cheltenham the next year, and then he got an injury, been off since. It's a long absence that. It's over 900 days, and I wouldn't want to be taking 4-1. I thought here, the 3 interesting ones. Firstly, Peter the Mayo Man, but the price has rather gone. He was sort of 6-7, I think, yesterday, down to 9-2 now. If he drifts back out, he gets what he wants, I think, for the first time, which is really good ground, and I think he probably wants 2.5 mile these days. Last season I wasn't so sure. I thought he definitely wanted 2, but I think 2.5. He has won over 2-3 over fences, and 2.5. This is probably as far as he wants to go. But if that ground's decent, he'll travel like the best horse on it. Of that, I've got no doubt. So he should be a trade at worst. It's what he finds at the finish. But there were signs last year on ground that he did not like that the engine was still there, particularly at Newbury around the Cashel-Man, where he travelled up as well as anything before he basically just cut out on soft ground. He's off an £11 lower mark than that Newbury run. I think he's a massive danger here. I think he's the most likely winner. But I can't resist at bigger prices. Small darts at Kentford Heiress, who goes well fresh. The marker 124 is probably too high, in truth. There isn't a lot of manoeuvre off of that. She's probably still about £4 or £5 too high, but she's more than capable of winning races of this nature. And the ground will be fine, and she goes well for it, and she has gone well for it in the past. I think last season she won a big handicap hurdle at Haydock after a break. I'll just stick that up now. Yeah, I mean she won a 14 runner race, a Class 2 race at Haydock, beating Misty Blue by 12 lengths off a mark of 115, and she performed fine over hurdles off 126. You know, you can argue the mark's okay, but for me, over hurdles, I think it might be a little bit too high. But she can't be a 50 chance. She can't be a 50 chance, because if she comes with her A game, she's a squeak. And similarly, Final Choice, not a horse to bet now, Final Choice. But again, if there is some giving that ground, and you don't know what with the watering and the like, but Final Choice tends to win at big prices when he wins. And again, he's capable in this grade. He's a 33 chance, and that's an insult really to his basic ability. You know, he had a run a couple of weeks ago at Wolverhampton earlier in the month to sort of blow any cobwebs away. That wasn't a disgrace of a run, given that he absolutely blew the start. And again, he's one to sort of keep on mind if you want to throw something at a big price, throw a few quid at a big price. 340. 340. This is again a race when I looked at it, I thought, well, I do want to play this because you've got so much pace in this race. You've got Beano that's probably going to go from the front. Gateway to Europe's going to go from the front. See the Sea will probably go from the front. And there was a couple of others as well that will pace push. It's just knowing who that's going to suit, really. Probably it might suit Carntop, who ran all right at Ascot against Coeur de Lion, actually. For a horse that was 150 chance, went off a ridiculous chance. You know, he's there with a chance 3 furlongs out, and just didn't quite get home. I think Carntop's interesting here. I think the race will be run to suit. This is his second run after a wind up. The wind opportunity worked at Ascot. I think Carntop's probably the one I'd want to be with. Market's found him though. I'm saying that. I mean, I'm not telling you anything here that the market's not already found. He's a 5-1 chance in an open race. So they put the bottom one in St Gallen as favourite 11-4, and it should suit him as well because he's got a turn of foot. He's effectively a sort of 10-12 furlong horse on the flat with a turn of foot, so it'll suit him. And he had a run as well at Kempton at the beginning of June to blow any cobwebs away. So, you know, the right two are probably at the front of the market. And but I just have Carntop over St Gallen, I think. But then the last race, the 4:10 3-mile handicap hurdle. The interesting one for me here, this was the sort of, when I first looked at the card yesterday, I thought that Silk Run was the interesting one here. She's very all or nothing. Very all or nothing. And with that, I don't think she's an each way bet. She's been put in, she was put in yesterday at 10, and I thought that was fair enough. She was originally, there was a little bit of money for her at first, and then she's drifted back out, and she's now 11. So I'm probably going to, having gone in at 10, I'll probably go in again, actually. If you look at her profile, it sort of tells you everything you need to know. She won a Class 4 handicap hurdle at Chepstow, April 2019. That coming off the back of a wind up. She won that off a mark of 116, which is the same mark she's off today. And she went off a 6-4 chance to win that. Now, I'd say a very similar sort of race today, similar circumstances. Yes, a bit further to go, but she'll stay. That's not a worry. She'll definitely stay. And she's almost sort of 7 times the price. So I think the time to catch Silk Run is after a wind up, because if you look at the form after that, she went straight off. 4 runs, 11th to 12th, 5th to 6th, 5th to 5th, 4th to 4th. She just totally went off. So she's one of these, I think, to catch first time after a wind up, after a break, on decent ground. And she's got conditions today. So I thought she was quite interesting. As I say, I wouldn't bother with the each way, because if a wind has gone, then she'll be out the back again. I'd rather back Silk Run win, and then if she's there, sort of 2 out, just try and trade your stake back. I think that'd be the way I'd rather play it, rather than playing it each way. So there we go. Best of luck today. Have a good day, and I'll be back. I think the next meeting is Utoxa next week, and I'll probably do one for them as well. Enjoy your day.